Anyone?
I think it might be on now.
I'm not seeing anything. I can't see it.
Yeah, it's on.
I still see so many streams. Oh yeah, I see the one that's working now.
How come? I can't even see. So is it working?
Yeah, I've got the stream up now.
Well, I've got. Okay. So which one's working out of the 8?
With the foundational technology,
The top one that says the word live around it.
No longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5-star systems. Nix will see the much
I've got live. There's 8 of them there.
Added back to the verse.
Oh, I got it.
While also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacian Belt. Here you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures for you to discover. With this edition of the 3rd star system, we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience, and that is to build it right in front of you.
Literally, Echo.
Done this year with the addition of several major locations. Such
I
as
needed to get this set up earlier on. I had a lot of it set up, but I was contest it earlier
on. We'll continue to unveil new Nix content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel it's just gonna into your hands sooner, and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step.
Hi everyone.
And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure how this is going to work.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit of a delay. So,
multiple patches, creating a living
let's see what happens. This could be a disaster.
It connected standard Pyro and introduced the front.
I can't watch the. I've got to watch the. Can't watch the channel.
Any threats that cross them. And with this month's release,
you'll now take part
in the conclusion.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Because it's way out of sync.
With the regen crisis, throwing the Empire into chaos.
Yeah, but don't watch
all jumping in to help.
No, because that's delayed.
Yeah. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices.
Wow. Here we go, guys. Let's see what other.
I met new characters like Dr. Logan Yoris.
Other stuff they can come up. So they just
of the Hokro agency.
Confirmed Nix.
The Pyramus Burn
Nix is the next one for this. Was it next month?
Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nix.
Yeah, next month.
The next step.
But
next month,
but Nix is one of those, isn't it? It's one of those really fucking.
As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins,
it's gonna be.
Let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
What's it called? Lawless.
What?
Very lawless.
Again, you'll have to do another video on it. Just say it's not for you.
It's not for me.
United Empire, but the UE.
Yeah, not for you, and hopefully Salty might get on that one.
Wasn't really
Terraform.
The resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UE didn't. QV planets.
He looks way too comfortable.
And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could.
So the reason why it's so low, why it's thinking and keeps buffering is because of the settings I've got, high settings.
The system itself.
And obviously my upload speed is not amazing, is it, as well?
From sort of a large corporate interest.
So you're saying that you've got 4K going on, or
1440,
144.
Yeah, 1440, but the thing's not that good. Jackie Boy's on.
Were a group of revolutionaries.
Jackie Boy? Yeah, buddy.
The dictatorship of
how's the quality, Jackie Boy, to you?
Going on in the Empire at the time.
So they went to the Nix system and established what became known as Left.
So he's on the
They wanted to
stream.
make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times.
Oh, bless. So he turned to vandalizing everything.
Interesting point in history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the Empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems.
I still see like
and there's new
8 versions of the upcoming stream.
And they have to ask, are they prepared
That's all right.
to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
I think personally, more is better.
That's really what I want to see in my subscription feed.
Yeah.
Making a star system is you
Am I dreaming?
approach it from kind of 2 angles in a
deleted
weird
that
way.
one.
What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does
I think
this
it's not showing up on the actual
what does it bring
channel.
to the table from a sort of a
Yeah.
flavor?
Which I don't, you know, on the, you know,
Whatever
on
it's bringing to
the
the company is unique and
studio. So I don't understand how that's worked.
So the Nix system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to
Interesting.
live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nix.
they were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect. They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nix safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
Cool.
The Pyro Star is quite a warm star. Stanton Star is quite neutral. And the Nix is a little bit cooler. The system has its star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas sort of nebulous cloud. And it has points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy. So because Nix is bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nix gas cloud where you could sort of just, in between the clouds, see a piece of the Vandal space. It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light. The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool.
Okay.
To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light. For the jump points in Nix, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nix and one from Stanton to Nix. It should be going from Nix to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra temporarily.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Glacian Belt is a huge asteroid belt that is in sort of the middle of the system.
The Glacian Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds. And it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
It's full of resources that are still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place.
How'd you go with the rest of the streams?
Still a lot of opportunity
With the
for
what?
independent miners to go out there.
The rest of the streams.
I'll delete them all now.
In Nix are
Okay.
a bit more sharp.
So basically what it's
like
saying on
sorts
YouTube
of
is that
like
my
icy loop, rocky,
bitrate is too high.
cliff-like,
I've got it set at 30,000, which is what I used to have when I had my old broadband, which had
Set up, yeah.
whereas now I've only got 10 meg up at the moment on this
It's
temporary
also
one.
a good hiding spot for
I forgot to
people who are
change
trying
it, so
to
that's why it's
elude
buffering a
capture,
lot, but
maybe set
it's
up
fine.
ambushes, that type of stuff.
It's not the end of the world.
Settle
I always
down.
feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just, you know, empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian belt over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Delamar is a very
Do you see
large
the
asteroid in the Glacian
Jackie Boys put you
that
live?
QV Planet
Am I
Services
dreaming?
had built a mining
Yeah.
that got taken over.
Yeah, he is dreaming.
You're dreaming. Stop dreaming.
Levski is
Stop dreaming, start living.
the biggest social outpost for Nix.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you
Yeah,
do.
Nix
your
is not for
campaign.
me. Take notes, salty man.
So it's kind of a San Francisco.
I'm literally just taking notes on how bad it is.
Central hub for trade, hauling.
It looks a bit more peaceful than
commerce within
Pyro,
Nix,
gotta
and
say.
also from Nix
Looking at the,
to other systems.
you know, not so angry.
Have a CD underlayer to it.
Pyro to me is quite angry.
Years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location. When you fly towards the left,
Well, it does look amazing,
huge gas
graphically.
around it.
Yeah.
Scattered small, mid-sized pieces.
Does
of
look.
dust.
Are they saying that it was in this? No, that makes sense. That doesn't make sense.
My thing's just cut off. My internet cut off.
And
It must do a
also
what's it called?
conscientious objects, which is for weapons. There's also one of my favourite places, Cafe Musée, which is where
You back on
can go
again?
down
I'm back
into
on.
some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink and.
So let's find out.
Welcome to Nix is your first experience at a new space station.
Yes, because I'm doing
in a
this
new solar
this
system.
broadband
It's a
thing.
mystery to be solved.
It seems to cut off
There's
every so often.
Things for the player to explore and look into.
How annoying is that?
Some twists and turns, of course, some combat.
So obviously I can't
and
use
if
it
you're
for
lucky enough to
live.
survive,
When I was
maybe
thinking
some
if
good
it's any
rewards.
good, I could use
This
it for
is
live.
basically a continuation.
Like doing some
Yeah.
lives, but it's
kind of
not
our
gonna be
ASD
enough that.
storyline. So, in the closing out,
But
what we
luckily,
call our
it
sort of
reconnects.
Science run amok.
The stream
storyline,
saw
we had
straight back on.
revealed that ASD had been.
It's not going to be the best of
procuring
streams, guys, but
very black
it's
market
our little
illegal
introduction
stuff
back
in
into we
order to
can.
conduct their experiments. So
Yeah.
this mission,
We're limping along.
continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that
I just
illegal
need
tech
to
is
get
being
broadband in
sold
this
the
place.
UAE,
Or
and they're hiring Intersect
whatever.
to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the
Yeah.
leading military defense contractor in the UAE. So the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military operations that they don't want to handle themselves. We didn't want players to be working directly for the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like, oh, where am I gonna be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations, that's all gonna come from Intersect Defense Solutions. Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal tech is in the Nix system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
Okay, interesting.
So when you come out of Quantum and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the Glacian belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now this is an old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way over to the Nix system as the system was being established. But you'll also see some additional design cues that QV planetary services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases.
Who's this?
Now, these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly
It's mine.
what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the
Me.
for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
Okay.
Ooh, the new Vandal.
Is this going to be a ship reveal, do you reckon? Do you reckon we're going to get a ship reveal?
Yeah.
Could be.
I think it's the heavy fighter.
For the first time.
Looks quite big, doesn't it?
Mm.
So the Vandal are a nomadic, very, very, very violent spacefaring race.
They've been striking out against outposts and such in the Nyx system.
Yeah, when I said no combat.
Don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system, and they're unaffiliated to any clan. There's small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
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 You will be contacted by some civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight.
Charge. Join the fight.
First time since the PU launched that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
Oh.
This fight will be intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which INSEC sort of will encourage you to do because it'll help further their investigation against what's happening here, why these QV stations have come back online.
You dock your ship, you board the station, and it turns out the inhabitants here have a real surprise for you.
The player will be immediately ambushed. These guys are
I need to start getting back into some first person.
Of course, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
People that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
The fight will be challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of what exactly is going on here, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They'll be wielding unfamiliar weapons. And we want you to get a sense that you are in a new place, in a new territory, fighting a new faction.
It's just a totally different world to what we came into Star Citizen 4, isn't it?
Yes, evolved.
Why are they attacking?
Evolution right here.
At this point, there's more going on here than anyone thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station and
so it just needs, good group play.
Along the way, you're going to get to explore some new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there, other forces that the Vandal have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vandal are after them.
Does look good.
Clues. You'll find ways to solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you've beat them.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow.
Wow. Is it going to be like the Outland?
This
The
isn't just a one-time event. This is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game.
The outposts.
And repeat this mission and find ways to do it even better, even faster.
There'll be a different story and different flavor. Obviously, we can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions that Intersect will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersect along the way.
Milkshake? Who's got a milkshake coming?
I'm super excited to finally see the Vanduul in the PU.
I'm excited.
Jackie
to bring
boy.
Cool Vanduul ship combat to SC.
Players in the PU
It says in there,
face down these awesome ships.
when you want me to drop off that milkshake.
Like the
Yeah.
Like we
Holy?
already have it in
Holy,
Arena
yeah.
Commander, where you get to fight the Vandal Swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be, I think, a heck of a lot of fun.
So this marks a great milestone for us for not only pushing hard and adding great content this year, we're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the
4.4.
great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be right back in just a few minutes to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Voyager Bar in beautiful scenic Orizon, where the staff of Cloud Imperium Games Manchester is gathered for their very own CitizenCon Direct watch party. As the dozens of such events happening at locations around the world, we've gathered today to watch this sneak peek at just a little of what the next year of Star Citizen has in store for everyone. Oh, that was really good, everybody. I'm Jared Huckabee, your host for the festivities and for the show today. And let me tell you, it's not a joke. It's not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our ninth patch in 10 months. And then in November, we're going to finish out the year strong with the long-awaited arrival of the Nyx system. And in case you missed it, because you were chatting with friends, hi. It's not the lawless wasteland of Pyro that you have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and
Sat
laws
there
and
on his
multiple
own.
ways to get there. It's an exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games because, as the architects of our persistent universe said at the start of the show, the foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us
Does look good.
more to Star Citizen than ever before as
Does
we
look good.
continue our journey towards 1.0. Now, before we continue with the show, let's get a few housekeeping tasks out of the way. First, we're simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want the keen communities of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice. Second, throughout the broadcast today, we want to see and hear what you have to say along the way, and you can tell us on social media by using hashtag CitizenCon. We're especially interested to see any photos from those watch parties that are happening across the globe, and we're going to find some way to bring a few of them into the broadcast later in the program. Third, we've also had a CitizenCon contest going for people to create their very own slice of life in the PU videos, and we played the winning entries during our pre-show countdown. The offerings were super varied. The idea was to work with a team to show the life of a miner or a hauler or a bounty hunter or whatever. But one guy just said, I'm gonna make a video about how awesome I am. And I respect that. So shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their
Yeah, he didn't win, but...
Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. Good job. And to all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show up on your accounts. I really don't know how that process works. Probably would have been good to find out before the show, huh? He's so afraid. Either way, if you missed the pre-show and are curious if you won, you can check the replay after we're done here today.
Wow.
All right. I just realized that my bosses, Chris and Sandy, are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience. So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you're just sat there right now, forced to watch and listen to anything I say.
Yeah.
Either of you regret that decision so long ago? All right, so I've probably pushed my luck enough. Let's get to the next thing. When Nyx arrives next month, it'll have Levski, the Glacium Belt, and the new Welcome to Nyx operation we just discussed. But throughout 2026, we'll also continue to build the star system out with new features and new technologies that will not only set Nyx apart and give it a unique identity from its sibling star systems, but continue to set Star Citizen apart from other video games altogether. Now, at this point, if you're running one of the watch parties,
So we've got new audio going on.
your speakers up for some brand new music from the maestro.
I can hear some background.
And let's take a look at some of what the next year has to offer for the Nyx system.
Breaking new ground. People will be screaming, "Is this base building?"
Art inspires the best technology, and through the development of that technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the Nyx system. We will also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now, this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale the Star Citizen requires. We challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
Whip.
With Genesis, we've made a complete paradigm shift to how we do things. Biomes are now created based on the physical data sets, with the assets being spawned whenever and wherever the correct criteria is found. So when you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside our rules. Genesis also ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology, erosion data.
That's not what people in polar Odyssey do. They don't go around looking at nature, they go ramming people.
Tell where to find
Yeah, bombing and combat. They go sightseeing.
Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks have broken off over time due to erosion. Of course, these new tools still give us the ability to direct
Oh, damn.
the field we want. The attention to detail from the
That's
tallest
got a
mountain
Starfield
to the
feel
smallest
to it,
flower
hasn't it, that
is
bit?
still our core DNA.
What?
With
Going
Genesis,
nowhere.
we can now keep that detail-orientated mindset as we focus on the quality, and it provides.
Does look a bit lush.
Genesis provides our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place, with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home. Now I'm going to hand you over to Will to go deeper into what we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
That does look impressive.
Thanks, Ian. So, in case it's not already clear, Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on Planet Tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx. So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know. Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic. It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system.
The hero planet.
The hero planet?
Nyx 1 has
What
got
does that
a
mean?
rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and grasslands, and from damp, expansive wetlands to claustrophobic, festering swamps. These core biome concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology, in some cases because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them. So, let's approach this planet in much the same way that you, the player, will, from orbit. The orbit appearance of the planets going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface. Previously, we had different data that drove the orbital and ground coloring. That's because the orbit was designed to look like vegetation that we'd place on the surface, and the ground coloring was trying to be a mix of soil, rock, and the organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there. Now we author much more of the data in a unified way. When you look at Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and brown or yellowy tones for sand and soil. We wanted to keep it as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition between different species on each part of the planet, and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season. This creates a far more complete image and allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space. Let's go down to the surface and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light.
Okay.
When we approached the surface of the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil and rock. One of the things that was missing from our terrain previously was simply
I don't think we're going to be driving a rover over that terrain.
I don't know.
Detail of the ground scale. To combat this, we added a new layer of data.
I wonder what the gravity is going to be like.
These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values. And this gives us a whole new level of terrain detail, of scale, and allows us to create far more unique locations across the planet. So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks. We've now got 2 major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly, long-desired feature, cliffs. We are adding large-scale, very detailed to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting new dimension to steep slopes that we simply couldn't get before. The second is a big one for you ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema, but only in places you'd expect to find them, thanks to a brand new rock scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell. Using physical data generated for each large and medium tile, now rock distribution makes sense and has a physical basis. So if you're still crashing into them after this comes out, that's on you. The rock assets themselves have had a glow up too. We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too. So now that our base terrain and rock scattering looks good, let's add some vegetations and explore some additional biomes. Nyx 1's forests and grasslands are full of trees, various grass species, rock formations, and they're found in all sorts of elevations like mountain valleys, open plains, and dense meadows. And when we start to add a bit of fresh water, they begin transitioning into more wetland-type biomes. And while forests are super cool, let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands today. So, how are we making these look so great? Obviously, we've had grass before, but never meadows of it. Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance. So we're stepping up our game in terms of spawning, shaping, and shading grass.
It's all about the grass.
With Genesis,
it's all about
GPU spawning
green.
Vast quantities of assets across all biomes, whether it be dense meadows or more complex collections of ground.
Looks beautiful.
Like you can see in these wetlands.
It does look stunning, doesn't it?
But
we are also
to be,
grass tiles to the ground.
Is it going to be working?
Are we going to stand there for hours looking at it? Or is it going to be hauling cargo, mining,
ground cover assets, and as a result,
fighting?
Well, I think there'd be like a brief pause where you just look at the surroundings.
Look at the surroundings while I kill this guy.
Yeah, while I'm loading this box into the ship.
Let's take a look at how we light our grass. Now, as in real life, the shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently to like a flat surface. We now use a solution that shades meadows of grass
Go for a picnic.
far more like fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance, a field of grass is far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface. This improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us nicely into how we're solving the distant representation of grass. So, let's talk about the distance problem.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Achievements with Genesis
talk
is allowing
about
us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets like buildings.
Well, I'm not seeing grass there. I'm seeing rock.
No. Too late. But in the past, this broke down very quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away. Because we don't hide planetary transitions and allow you to view complex regions from very large distances, there are almost infinite perspectives from which you can see a location in Star Citizen. So, how can we afford to evaluate complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire swathes of the planet? Enter the virtual terrain. Virtual terrain, or VT for short, is how we now cache and represent our terrain at varying scales. This has been the enabler for all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also how we now evaluate and represent vegetation from a distance. When creating the VT for each part of the terrain, we assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to use the same shading model for the distant representation as the close-up asset, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic rockscapes, those muggy wetlands, or even our festering swamps. So,
I can already imagine the noises my PC will make while trying to render all this.
Sounding like a bit of investment's needed.
I'm hearing screaming out in pain.
I'm hearing my wallet screaming out in pain as it requires a new graphics card.
Ground coverage. And I think it creates something really unique.
Yeah. With our 3070 Ti's.
Anyway, that's our update
Okay.
on the Planet Tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nyx 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this, and
Especially when you fall through the whole planet.
Yeah.
I'm really excited at that.
You can see it at scale.
As you can
Look at that grass! I can see the grass from underneath.
Planets of the quality and believability we've always strived for.
Oh, man.
And meeting
It'd be really exciting to see it for 2 minutes before a Polaris rams you out.
Yeah.
And with that said, let's move
Well, there's
on
a
to
nose down
travel between
Idris.
systems.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Up until now, our mission system has been specific to the star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there. We've never been able to link these together, but with the introduction of our third star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of interstellar cargo.
That's what we want.
System-to-system hauling.
Yay.
Hauling is back.
No one said hauling was gone. You guys even play the game?
That's what we need.
These are exactly what they say.
That's what the channel needs.
You're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nyx, taking various volumes of cargo between the stations.
Thing is,
high volumes
what
of
they
cargo
actually need, though, is
to fill the purpose for the whole
not
scene
just
within
missions,
the
but
series.
the mission, and then you've got to source that cargo, not just go
And
and
there'll
get
be
it
a
from.
few sort of more direct routes.
Yeah, A to B. Yeah.
Cargo from.
Well, they need both, don't they? They need the option to, to move someone else's gear. Do you know what I mean?
So if you've never sort of experienced
Or
a jump point,
you purchase it yourself, but then,
these missions will
yeah.
require you to. They're no way limited. You can do them in any sort of ship you want, any size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake cutter myself, between Stanton and...
Really?
Are you carrying like 2 boxes in?
I've got a few ships, but the Drake
Yeah,
cutter
yeah.
is really cute, so...
Making like 2K.
One thing that
For
we're
that
looking
massive
at
jump to Nyx.
interstellar missions.
Oh, yeah, for that fuel.
Encounters where you can be attacked by
I'm making like $500
maybe the
bucks.
mission giver has tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight, and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far, with the logistical network and making sure they make sense within the themes of the systems, just as much love has gone into the interstellar missions we're making now.
Oh, I bet. And look at the security forces that they've employed as well. Oh, no, they
We
haven't.
was going to build out the Nyx system.
No
right
police, no nothing.
after 4.4 launches next month, and why we want to keep as much of what we're doing behind closed doors so you can discover it for yourself in-game and on your own. We still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rockcracker. Okay, so Rockcracker, Jared, is our internal name.
Rockcracker is where you have to crack a rock. It's a big rock. You want more?
Oh, I can't even write.
So way out into the Keegar Belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations. These were originally industrial facilities breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down. But since they've been mothballed and been left abandoned,
That's that big rock.
You're going to have to find your way inside.
That is a monster rock.
Bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long forgotten places.
Ooh.
One of the
ARG
main
thing then, isn't it?
features is the laser head, which will require
Most
certain
definitely.
things to get working. It's up to you and your friends to find how to get in.
There'll be a variety of options. Whether you're discovering
More gameplay loops, though, isn't it?
Went over a bit weird, in, wasn't it?
forgotten tunnels,
Yeah.
or you're going through the main laser entrance. Now, as you're traversing through the facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility. Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
Cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay.
I'm gonna crack some rocks tonight. Don't wait up, love.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations.
So that's talking ship for another year?
What?
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year, so we have to throw it over to Alexei for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
Hey? Well, that was definitely not 4 ships, was it?
I think they said they were doing 4.
Yeah, that was not 4 ships, though, was it?
Come out in October.
Paladin, the Vandal, and the Shiv.
Essentially, the weapons that does not have a manufacturer, the weapons that you can think of that were made by space pirates.
Gray sells whatever he can sell.
Sometimes he gets his hands on some weapons that come from unknown origins.
He will sell things that no company in their right mind would ever make.
These are the most kind of like scrappy and taped together and the most kind of like pyro-ish weapons that you can think of.
Right now we're releasing 3 new weapons. Rocket launcher, the LMG, and the long-awaited Space AK.
Oh, Space AK.
Oh.
This is the one that
Right,
is
so I've
the
reset it
most
going.
in demand, but I've been politely badgered
Right.
about the most.
I've reset it
Apologies, we're back.
But this time, when I did it, I've reduced the quality thing, so let's see how it gets on with that.
Yeah. Energy. You'll see on the top of the art, there is a bolt that
Okay.
cycles the rounds, and that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot. And that is just like a really fun way of making a weapon work in kind of like a scrappy, glued together kind of aesthetic. The LMG, this thing is a really fun, slow-firing, hard-hitting beast.
It will bring the 50 cal, and the only other weapons that have this right now in the verse are the sniper rifle and the Coda.
Honestly, if you even get hit by one, you just instant tier 1 injury, back to medical.
Are you even trying anymore?
You know what? We made all these really complicated, fancy guns, and some people just want, I want a slow-firing rifle. Give me a scrap-together box that fires the biggest thing you can possibly find.
We don't have a rocket launcher of this caliber. It will be 3 grenades straight together that you pull into the tube and fire towards your enemies. The cool part about it will have an arming distance, so you won't be able to just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher to be able to blow ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim with the apparatus, because you've got the tube on your shoulder, and you try to aim it, you have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh, we can't have an aim apparatus for this. And then we realized, like, it's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus, and you just kind of like, all right, I think that's the middle of the screen, I'm going to hit it.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
Tuba. About binoculars. Binoculars are really cool. We don't have anything like this in the verse, and I think it will be really convenient to use something that's dedicated to look for the things, especially far away, instead of using your sniper scope, for example.
Will the binoculars have glint?
I'm not aware of this one. Probably not, because binoculars are not something that you need to be aware of.
It's really funny because obviously, due to glint gate, as you know, I beautifully internally call it, basically there was a lot of community feedback basically saying like, oh, I really like spotting people. I really like playing a spotter. And essentially I was like, oh, this community wants to be able to spot people from distances, and what can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like, binoculars. And I prototyped a thing which essentially was just a scope in a hand, and it worked. So we've got some really cool binoculars coming that allow you to spot people from distances.
Oh, cool.
And how much damage do the binoculars do?
That sounds cool.
Depends on how you throw them.
Thanks, Alexei.
So that was a rocket
The
launcher.
end of this segment for this year. So that's Talking Ship. And
Space AK. What was the other one?
Anyone else is going to cover?
LMG.
Tell me something else.
What was LMG?
It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more exciting and expansive than this year.
Come on, I want to see the ship silhouette. Are they doing that?
I don't know, but I did a bit disappointed about the ship bit.
That is an eclectic bunch of combat ships for the verse, and they're all available right now up on the robertsspaceindustries.com store. Also, any minute now, there's going to be a PTU drop that includes all three, so you can fly them now ahead of their release next week when Alpha 432 goes live. 3 combat ships. I wonder if they'll have any additional uses coming up later in the show. That's a hint. All right, what else
The ship is not badly priced, actually. 123 at the moment.
Which one's that one?
That's the end one that you liked.
These are always popular.
The thrown together one.
That looks quite good as well, doesn't it?
Metal posters on the store, and of course, love
The
them
Stinger
but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new Wickelow's Emporium T-shirt.
Stinger 264.
Oh, right.
There's also a page
It's not bad, actually.
So the Chivy's what, 100 and what? 102?
120.
Eye trackers to gaming chairs to voice packs.
And there's a PTU.
Stingers.
New partners
One
like
month?
Planet Ring and Pigeon Space.
Okay, so and the
All of that on the RSI website as well.
Stinger's what? 250?
123. The Stinger's, sorry, the Stinger's 264.
Challenge coins. Who doesn't love challenge coins? There's these lovely Levski themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties around the world. There's also a digital one of these in the goodies pack, so you check those out. Don't leave today without getting your Levski challenge coin. All right, what else can I shill? Now I'm kind of tired of shilling. All right, let's find out some more about where we are. Simon, can we move? Can we do? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Pardon me. We go. Excuse me. Hi. How you doing? Hey, that's my best angle. Hey, I gotta be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so this is the 9th floor of CIG Manchester's Manchester office. That's you. This is the room where we have lunch every day, and if you get here early enough, croissants. If the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Over here, we got some cool mannequins representing a different aspect.
Oh,
of
what?
We got the ever-present, Hurston security armor over here. That's really cool. You got your Dusters armor right here. You got this guy from a game that we're not talking about today. Marine armor, yeah, it's all pretty cool. And then when you come over here,
Darren already sounds out of breath from moving from that.
Already.
That kind of stuff. We got this cool Krigeri Bengal carrier.
Oh, Bengal.
Over here, shoot it.
Look at that.
Go down the nose here. Watch this. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna go over here. Can you see me?
Oh, wow.
Hi, Mom. All right.
Hi, Mom.
So yeah.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah.
What are you doing, Richard Towler? All right. I thought John went to Washington, D.C. Let's see, what else we got? We got cool Voyager bar here. This is where we get all kinds of breakfast goods.
That's what I call a workplace.
Hey, who remembers the big coffee controversy of 2016, where everybody took their Reddit
Pizza.
and pondered the question, do devs deserve coffee? I do. You want to see what next year's big controversy is? Check this out. I'm going to come over here. Do devs deserve coffee? Welcome to the Stargarita machine. Yeah.
I got a slushie.
Do devs deserve frozen deliciousness?
Ooh.
I don't know. Go to Reddit and let us know. All right, let's see. Let's go over here. Competition. Oh, competition winners. We have the list of competition winners. Can we put that on the screen? Yeah, that's the one. Sorry, competition winners. Remember the competition for the CitizenCon winners? The people made the videos, and we gave them a Kruger L21 Wolf. We actually have the names. They're behind me. Look. All right, that's cool. Also, everybody's got food. Do I have food here? Oh, somebody's supposed to save me pizza. All right, so we got. Oh, you guys saved me a lot of pizza. Let's see. There's like 3 different kinds of pizza here. What if we just combine them into like a challenger situation here?
Nice.
Ooh. That's what is it?
So I have now crafted my own pizza experience. And that is a terrible segue into our next segment. Gemma, can we, Gemma, are you there?
Yes, Dennis.
Fire up the FPS crafting segment while I try to chew this off camera.
We sure can. Roll, BT.
Crafting.
Star Citizen, at its heart, will always be an enormous sandbox experience where you can set out to tackle the universe in whatever ways you want. But that doesn't mean we can't shape parts of the universe here and there to better suit our needs. That goes for both you and us. Let's start this part of the show with a look at how crafting is going to change everything from resource gathering, refining, and even combat when it comes online in the next few months.
The first version of crafting is going to be quite small in scale. We're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials that have different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items that you can craft, weapons and armor. For Star Citizen, crafting is our primary progression mechanic. Star Citizen isn't your standard MMO. We don't have levels. We have ships, we have gear, we have things that you create in the world, you perfect, you research, you improve. And those items, those ships, those vehicles, the armor and
Dark Souls in the chat.
That's how you progress in Star Citizen.
Is he?
Crafting isn't just a progression mechanic for creating new items. It's also a fundamental change to how we handle resources in the game.
Ricardo is
materials
in
that you
chat
collect,
as well.
how you refine them, quality matters.
Crafting the weapons, you'll be able to have some quality materials to influence the item stats on those weapons.
It'll be somewhat random, potentially weighted on the location of the materials.
Slightly behind, guys, with this because my internet is dog
once you
shit.
take those materials to your
I'm having to use public internet from the pub.
You can use them to craft, and
which is below me. And I'm paying £8 for the fucking service too. For the day.
It's not just iron ore anymore, it's iron ore of the quality that you know will get you the stats for the item that you desire. And it's not just mining, it's essentially every resource we can get our hands on.
To support this, we also need major changes to inventory so that all of these new resources that you're collecting, you can see what you have, you can order it better, you can understand what you have in your inventory.
We won't have the new refining crafting system yet. We'll be using the existing ones. Those will pass the quality through into the refined materials, which you can then take to your crafting machine and start making your personal items. Once you have your blueprint and your quality materials that you've refined, then you can put them together on the item fabricator. This will be pretty much what we showed in last year's CitizenCon, with the UI letting you assign your quality resources to different aspects of the item. Once you're happy with what you see on the preview, you'll be able to click to craft, and it'll get queued up, and your result will be produced sometime later.
Sometime later.
You'll be able to get the new crafting machine from shops in most landing zones. You'll be able to bring it up on your freight elevator and use it in your personal hangar, or tractor beam it around and stick it on a ship if you want to use it from there.
There'll be a small amount of blueprints you get credited to your account just to test and mess around, but the vast majority of them will be earned through missions, and then you can use that blueprint to craft the item that it is that you've got the blueprint for. So it should be a good reason to go and test all the different various missions in the game.
The advantage of crafting your own items is that they'll be better than anything that you could buy from shops. You'll be able to increase and improve item stats that are relevant to your gameplay. Maybe a gun will shoot faster, maybe it'll do some more damage, or your armor will have greater resistances against environmental effects or incoming fire. You might be wondering, what about the upgrade and research? That will be coming. We're happy with this initial scope for crafting.
It's going to be so valuable for us as devs to kind of get the metrics in, get the feedback in, because then we can make the changes that, you know, they only become obvious, so to speak, when you have kind of mass amounts of data and mass amounts of users using it. So I'm very excited to get it out in the wild.
It's our intention to get crafting out on temporary mode by the end of the year and get the testing we need so we can release it when it's ready.
So that's one way you'll be crafting your own experiences in the Star Citizen universe. But what about us? Where do we get to hone in and craft a bespoke experience here and there, specifically tailored to individual or small group play? Well, that's where instancing comes in. And I'm going to let Benji tell you a little bit more.
We're bringing instancing to Star Citizen in 2026. Why are we doing it, and how will it work? So if you've played any content in 2025 in Star Citizen, you know that most of these areas were in actual PvP zones where other players could interfere. Instancing is a means to create an environment where designers can create tailored content that's tuned to a specific.
When we talk about that, Dan, this week.
This is what I'm interested in.
It's not to say that we don't love PvP. I'm a PvP guy.
I'm a
PvP me, bro.
PvP guy.
A good balance
for the win.
Dangerous overworld and the protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need.
I think that's quite a good idea, though, because it gives you the best of both worlds.
Tailored and balanced to a tunable amount of groups, so the difficulty matches the group size.
I was looking at his T-shirt, TDK.
It doesn't mean that that doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience. So before anybody says this is only a PvE thing, this technology can also be applied to unlock curated PvP experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones. So it's not about one thing or the other, it's really about unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So that said, how will it work? Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangars, meaning that when you take an elevator, you exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens, you cross that gateway, you're now into your instances. Could be also a quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. The transition is just like a dynamic mesh transition. And so throughout the universe, we will be able to add these areas that are open or closed instances that allow you to join in either with a party and have a reserved instance for your party, or join in open instances that has a number of slots. And so some of those areas will be completely instanced on different servers. This allows us to leverage the compute power of the entire mesh. The closed ones will be really to drive one piece of content. You enter and exit seamlessly, just like we do with your instance hangars currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first instances will be.
Siege of Arzen was an event we did previously, which created a gameplay scenario where the player had to run through.
When we did one, I really enjoyed it, but we just never seemed to get around to doing it again.
I did it with Dark and
but now with the introduction of
drawing
instancing,
pin, and we got
it
all the way
gives us
to
an
the end to the
opportunity
to the last
evolve
ship,
it
and they put me in charge of flying
make it better for you and a
Let's just say we didn't see the end.
That's like putting me in charge.
It is an event that I had the honour of pretty much solely designing and building all of the logic and having the stress of trying to get it working.
Agent Dooley from the CDF puts the call out for volunteers because basically the Nine Tails have taken over sort of a cluster of floating platforms in Orison.
And you are there to kill these sort of lieutenants of this terrorist organization and take back control. So in our current thinking, Siege of Orison is designed for about a 15 to 20 people fire team. So you, your friends, or your org will go in, you'll all have sort of dedicated roles. Some of you might be the tank who brings in the heavy weapons and sort of pulls the fire. Some of you might sit at the back and be the sniper and pick people off who are a bit further to make the advance easier. Some of you will be the medic who sole job is going to be revive and look after the rest of the team in health. And some of you will be the people who
The medic that's got no medipens.
most of the mission.
Great.
The event was designed for about 15 to 30 people. But when we released it, we fixed the problem with 2 DGSs on one server that was fighting for resources. And with that, we also upped the player count to 100. So when it first debuted, it was already too full for what it was designed for.
It was a massive operation at the time. I think that bringing it back and giving it a refresher will be a fantastic addition back into the PU.
So imagine if Siege was a instance that you could go in and play solo, or if it was a public event that you could go with your friends, or you could join up with random players on the server. There's lots of ways that we want to take a look at Siege, how we can make it a more approachable piece of content.
I'm excited to say the least to bring back Siege of Orison, 2-star Citizen, and to sort of
it's one of the ones
have
I
it
did
be
like
one of the first
Orison when I
tests
was
that we
away.
have for instancing, and really
Yeah,
get
no
back to
doubt you
sort
get
of a core experience.
all
where
the
it should be.
chatter and chat
So
about
while,
not doing
the
this
next season
and
is quite heavily focused on
that
Nyx.
rubbish.
I'm also very happy that we're not really ignoring our other 2 systems of Standard and Pyro, and we're going back there and we're sort of improving and expanding on the player's life in those 2 systems as well.
Yes, while things like Genesis, interstellar hauling, crafting, Siege of Orison, and more will reveal next year, will continue to bring life into the existing universe outside of Nyx. There's still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an earlier look than normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major content release of 2026, and what it means for progression-based gameplay. As an evolution of our Building Interior initiative, you won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works. So inside the facility, you'll find huge vaporization chambers, old processing plants, industrial tunnels, and eventually into the old turbines, which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true history of Levski. This is a place where you won't see in Lorville, you won't see in I-18 or the other landing zone. It's the pure basis of Levski. You will have, of course, metal and tunnels and more structural place, but you will also see a lot of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go to take vacation. It's really a place you go to fix stuff.
Not everybody has what it takes to come down there and do the job that needs to be done.
Frank
All of your
Yang
sewage systems have stopped
has
working.
asked, do you think it'd be possible
Everything's
to buy
going
the other Superior
quite
ships
literally.
after the live?
And so the player is tasked with their group, most likely, to go into their
maybe on the impound.
and get the facility.
Maybe on the impound.
So let me get
We
this
got
straight.
code in our description.
A mission to fix the toilets of Levski.
It's not just the toilets. They're also trying to turn on the air. Air is a bit more important. It still works in Levski, but they have like maybe polluted air because it's not being cleared properly. It's not just for the toilet.
Poop mission.
It's also a little bit more exciting than just going into like some
Poop mission.
It's like a free layered system where there's free chapters.
This will be mission-driven and repeatable.
That'd be cool.
Everything from mining to salvage to combat to investigation, a variety of roles. Narrative.
That would be good, actually, for
every progression you do,
a couple of people, 2 or 3 people to do.
Back to previous areas, complexifying the play space.
We've been wanting to have more gameplay around landing zones for a long time. Now that we have instancing tech coming online, that allows us to do something that provides really cool gameplay close to a landing zone.
With the missions, that's what will create different overlays or change the spaces or change the progression, but it'll be the instancing which will enable us to create tailored content to you and your group. So you're going to be able to play a part of it, make your progress, and then log off. And then the next time you come online, you'll be able to pick up where you left off.
It's going to allow players to
That's cool.
return back to it at different states, depending on how much you've progressed, and be able to keep it going until you've reached sort of the end of the whole 3 chapters.
Where you're not going to have other people getting in your way.
That is
you,
cool.
your team, your party.
It's a way of giving players content where they know exactly where they're at and they can keep going back to it and improving sort of their own progress and ability to jump through them in faster and faster times as well.
So that's a look at how we'll be allowing players and developers alike to create more crafted experiences within the greater sandbox of the persistent universe. Okay, is that it for me at this point, Jared?
Almost.
That looks good.
Throw it back to me, and I got one more for you after this.
Back to you, Jared.
Yeah.
Base building. That's the big one.
It's building, isn't it?
Building.
Yeah.
Everybody's really excited about the year ahead. So that's a brief look at some of the ways in which we're allowing you and our developers to craft a more curated Star Citizen experience.
I don't think they're talking about Squadron 42 in this.
We've got only one more segment to go. But before we do that, we wanted to check out, we said earlier in the show that we would look at what you were saying during the show. We looked at how to put YouTube comments on the stream, and it was immediately apparent that we were going to lose our broadcast license, so we're not going to do that.
What
we did
idiots.
find some social media stuff on Twitch, though. Or not Twitter, X. What is it called now? Let's see what this says. Let's see.
I missed that. Was that?
Welcome back, Levski, from
He said he wanted to put the comments from the YouTube on the stream, but they found out at the end the stream would be taken off within seconds.
I really should have worn my glasses. Do the bagpipes. That's the
Yeah.
Charlie Oscar.
We've had that before.
Let's see. Nice.
Literally, I was like, "Don't swear within 7 seconds." Or so. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Let's see. First Citizen I've played for almost a decade
Damn it.
in Austin. Oh, nice. Straight out of Klesher, back to the Hex. Photos from Leicestershire. How do you say it? Is that Leicestershire? Leicester? Leicester? I've only been in the UK for 3.5 years. At San Jose Bar Citizen Watch Party. Oh, somebody created a lovely Vandal mask there. Sean Tracy.
Base building.
Just that, exactly. Just scan that, put that in game. All right, so that's a few reactions we're seeing on social media right now. Before we get to our big finale, or the thing we're going to wrap up the show with today, I did want to talk a little bit about big CitizenCon versus digital CitizenCon versus what we're doing today, which is CitizenCon Direct. Every year, CitizenCon is a monumental task for any number of people, whether that's development, marketing, the support teams, the platform teams. Everybody comes together to make this thing happen and go off, hopefully without a hitch. And so far, we've been doing all right, other than some stuff in the room here. You know who you are. They had to know. But doing CitizenCon is not always the easiest thing for our developers. You might not assume this, but most game developers are not social butterflies. They tend to like to sit quietly in the dark at their computers, like little goblins, and just make digital virtual worlds like this. And then I come in all happy and like, hey, you want to be on video? And they're like, no. And I'm like, it's in your contract. And they're like, oh yeah. So we thought, we usually do it behind the scenes afterwards, but we thought we'd do a little bit of it here. the folks in the
Is that OBS there in the middle monitor?
montage of some of the more candid moments from the filming of CitizenCon over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to spend 2 minutes and take a look at that.
Yeah.
Let's see what they put together.
How many citizens?
The free version.
Performed? Just the one.
Nope, my first one. One last year.
2.
A few.
8 or 9?
Maybe 9 or 10?
Never.
Man, I don't know, man.
Did you like doing it?
Yes, I was completely terrified.
It was good. Bit stressful.
The first live one, I was a mess.
Weird combination of going from insane highs to insane lows.
Live ones.
Because?
It's over.
The live ones are pretty special.
Pre-tap's always fun, but the live events are special, aren't they?
So they're going to do a live next year.
That weird crack house.
Yeah. Wonder what that'd be though.
I like the live ones. Oh, I mean, I love these digital ones. These are the best.
Every time I've done it, it has been a digital one, and I'd like to do one on stage.
Is it because you have a restraining order against you, or?
I didn't know if I was going to be sick, if I was going to lose my stomach.
How hard is it to keep your eyes open on stage?
That's another problem with the lights. They're kind of, I'm realizing through this sentence that I'm closing my eyes as I speak. Do I do that a lot?
I am a very shy individual, so this is me just trying to get out of my shell.
Getting the crowd to react to the ideas that we've been working on for so long.
We can react. Watch. Everybody.
Yay!
I can feel your passion from it.
Cut the camera.
Jimmy Somerville.
Counting you down in like 30 seconds. I'm like, do I stand up? Do I sit down? Do I drink? Do I not? Do I talk?
This will be the best one yet. That's right. Because it's nice and short.
Is this all supposed to be usable content? Because I could be different.
No. Of all your nicknames, why is Moistmaster your favorite?
I think you mean least favorite, because it has the word moist in it. I mean, come on.
We'll give you a new nickname by the end of this.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Could do
All
with
right.
one.
Let's get started.
So for those of you watching at home or at the watch party,
Yeah, it's definitely OBS.
I put that in there because I'm eternally grateful for all of the CIG staff and developers who take the time to appear on these things, whether it's ISE, SCL, CitizenCon, walk on stage, be pre-recorded. It's not the easiest thing for everybody. And on behalf of the community, if I can speak for them in this regard, I want to say thank you for participating in these things each and every year that we have them. Now, let's wrap things up here. So let's see, how do I want to do this? At this point, we've only got one major story left to tell. But before we do that, we wanted to do one more check-in on something we started last year. Last year, Rich Tyler took the stage and presented his roadmap to 1.0. And we didn't want to go an entire year without talking to the senior game director himself to get his update on that 1 year later. So we're going to throw it to him, and we're going to go to our last segment, and when we come back, we'll say our goodbyes. And if you're at a watch party, it's time to get... I was going to say... that's not a word I can say on the camera. Let's just go. Let's just throw it back to me. Go to me from 1 week ago.
He's quite good at this this sort of stuff, isn't he, Jared?
Last year, Senior Game Director Rich Tyler took to the stage and revealed our plan for 1.0. Now, before we end this year's CitizenCon Direct, we wanted to take a few moments and follow up on that reveal from last year, to do as we've done today and look at the year ahead. So, Rich, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Everybody knows the only constant in game development is change. So I'm going to ask you outright, what's changed about the road to 1.0?
Well, fortunately, nothing. It still remains our North Star. The team is busy working towards that goal in the background, and every patch this year has moved us towards that goal. And if you haven't watched the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation from last year, I highly recommend you do so, because everything in it is still relevant as of today.
You mentioned every patch this year has moved us towards that goal, so I want to dig deeper into that. We've done, at this point, 9 releases in this year, more than any year prior. How does each one of these not just sit as their own moment in time, but move us forward on this road to 1.0?
Well, last year I discussed the framework of 1.0, how all those complex systems can tie together. And one of the core aspects of that was the main story, which became the spine of the universe, which brought all of the locations, mission givers, guilds, and all the different areas of the game to the players. Now, what I didn't talk about from last year was all of the content that was going to support that framework, add the flesh to the bones, should we say. And I think that's where this year has moved us towards that goal. If you think about previous events of previous years, they've generally been locations that we've put into the verse, but they've been transient. We've taken them away, like Siege of Orison or Zenithreat. We've added them to game, and then they've been moved away. And I think with the addition of the patches this year, when you look at the Hathor facilities, Onyx facility, these are permanent additions to the world that not only have their own story, as when we release them with the patches, but they'll also become points of interest and areas that the larger 1.0 narrative will utilize.
Since we're on story, I'm going to stay with this here. Since we launched the PU back in 2015, it's always been this sandbox where players can do what they want. They can bring their own story to the verse, and that'll never change. But how important is it that we also build this concurrent narrative of our own, this crafted experience, if you will, alongside that?
Well, we're trying to create a living, breathing universe. And that includes both the player stories that you mentioned, that they can go and enjoy and create their own memories together. But it also means that we want to have a universe that gives back. We want areas and locations to feel like
they got the Toby Eye tracker on the RSI store.
Over there?
We've had an overarching story.
Oh, it's 15% off at the moment, isn't it?
From patch to patch, and we're going through
I don't even use it
right now.
When's the last time you used yours?
I haven't, because it's not set up on my system, because I'm in this 10th place.
And facial animation, which allows us to inject some of the meaning and the why.
I haven't got my full desk set up or anything.
And I think
small
story
desk
is integral to Star Citizen as a connective tissue that ties all of these different complex systems together, because it takes players on that journey throughout the game.
To see this big turn this year to start injecting story into the verse, I think people are really responding to it. So everybody knows, and you mentioned just now, that this year we changed a whole lot about how we operate.
I hope it is.
How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone very well.
I hope it is next year.
I think if the mantra that I've always been pushing this year, at the beginning of January, was patch always goes.
I'm really looking
and I think
forward
this
to
year has seen a different development strategy for how we've been moving the game forward. That's where this different strategy has allowed us to really take a wider approach. And we also have to remember that Star Citizen is played by tens of thousands of players every day. And while we have lofty future goals, we still have to make decisions right now that make the game fun for the people that are playing it all the time, playing it as their daily game. If you look at previous years, we've had to hold a patch back, we've had to make concessions, mainly due to around a feature may not been ready or right to go into there.
There were 3 months, 4 months, sometimes 5 months between patches.
Exactly, and I don't think that's good for anybody. I don't think it's good for the players. I don't think it's good for the development team. I think it's better to have regular cadence of drops. One good example is this year for A Line of Mine. People probably don't know, but A Line of Mine, when you turned on the laser, it was actually supposed to reveal the Sandworm Valakar. And I played it, and it didn't hit the quality that I wanted to go into the game. So we changed, and I took it out, and I made that decision alongside Chris and Erin, and we've held that back, and we're going to work on that towards a future patch. But I think definitely the more regular cadences has had the multiple benefits, and like I said, I want to dispel a myth right here, right now. Like, features are still being worked on quite heavily in the background, from radar and scanning in FPS, the new quantum, to inventory, engineering, and crafting, and all of those features are going to be coming very, very soon for players to get their hands on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I was to go back to the start of the year, I would hope that we would have released more features. But I also think every decision we've made this year has been through the lens of making the live experience as stable and as good as possible.
Absolutely. All right, so that's a bit about the year before. And the year before has been, I've said this before, I've said it internally, I've said it out there, I'm going to say it right now again on camera. I think this has been the best year of Star Citizen ever.
It's been intense.
look right into the camera.
It's been ups and downs as well.
Numbers are up, engagement numbers are up, the length of the play sessions are up, bug numbers are down, 30K is gone. It's been a solid year. But CitizenCon isn't CitizenCon without talking about the
I
future.
remember them days, 30K, remember?
30Ks, yeah.
This more
with our box running, trying to do our box session.
That was literally every game session got a 30K.
But what more are we going to do to make this universe seem alive and real and breathing?
I think the biggest thing is to start having that conversation be two-way. So if you think about this year, like you mentioned, we've been having fully voiced NPCs, but a lot of those missions and those NPCs, they're talking to you, they're talking at you.
Right.
You don't get to talk back to them. Now, obviously, you get to interact with them through your actions. You get to go and do their mission, and you get to move that along, and then they talk to you again. But it's a one-way conversation.
We're missing that conversation wheel.
Exactly. The next part would be physical mission givers. That's something that we're going to be working towards very soon, with Battaglia being the first one.
NPCs, that would be really good.
And just to be clear, we will be bringing all the mission givers eventually back, and we want them to be an integral part of
Proper
the story
NPCs.
that players go and enjoy. We want the locations to be brought to
Always standing on chairs.
Yeah.
We want to
Or halfway through the floor.
interactive scenes that you
We had a
can
lot of that, didn't
do.
we?
And
Fairly
obviously the full end goal is you know, to have cinematic story.
Yeah.
And that is what we're going to be pushing towards. Everything we do, every decision we make is through the lens of moving us closer to 1.0. It might sometimes be difficult to see why those decisions have been made at the time they've been made, but rest assured that Star Citizen 1.0 is still our North Star. That's what we're still aiming towards, and that's what we're going to be moving forward with every patch next year as well.
And remembering when mission givers were first introduced, they sometimes became a bottleneck. Is there a role in instancing, which we learned about earlier today? Is there a role for instancing in that, in helping with mission givers?
Yes, partially. It will be one mechanism that will allow us to have players go to their own individual area of the verse, have that conversation, and then go and continue on into the open world environment. So I think that's where, when we look at instancing provides us one tool that allows us to remove that bottleneck and provide a more seamless experience.
Happy you said that, because that's one of our last topics I want to get to, is how we reconcile instancing with the persistent universe. Like, for the last 10 years now, we've been building this giant, seamless, persistent universe where everybody can come in and play together.
Dark Souls said they would use an eye
It would
tracker
be
while watching
easy
Palm.
to have a first instinct reaction to the idea of instancing and say that's antithetical to everything that Star Citizen is. But you mentioned last year these three pillars of building Star Citizen in the PU, and I want to, you said nothing changed, but I want to ask you about this specifically. What are those three pillars again, and how does instancing fit within the greater design of Star Citizen?
So the three pillars I mentioned last year were open world. That's just like the missions you love today. You can go and play, there's other players there, and you can go and enjoy that together. Then we have instancing, which I'll talk about more, but similar to municipal works that we've talked about previously. And then the third pillar was dynamic content, which would be content that's generated by the activities of the players. And I think it's very easy to become myopic around one specific thing when we're talking about it a lot, when it's the next stage of our development. And I think you could reverse it. If we'd have made a game that was all instance, and then I'd come on camera and said, hey guys, we're going to start doing it open world, it would be like, oh, is the game changing? Are we doing open world now? Is open world the new you know, North Star that's going to take us this way? And it's not. It's just one more tool that's going to allow us to offer different and dynamic experiences for players to go and engage in. Now, when I talk about instancing, instancing isn't always what you'd imagine as a solo instance experience where it's only just you. We're going to have several different versions of instances. Some are going to be closed instances, which will be like the new player experience. We'll be able for you to go in by yourself, for us to teach you the ropes in a safe environment so that you can understand how to play the complex game that we've made. But we'll also have open instances, like a cantina or a bar, where we might say, hey, we only want 50 people to come in here because we've got mission givers and we've got other NPCs for you to talk to, and you would just walk in and it would be seamless. You wouldn't know that there was an instance, you're not going to get a loading screen, you would just seamlessly walk into that location, it would be full of other players and NPCs, and you can go and enjoy the content. And that's, I think, something that instancing is going to provide us. It's going to give us a tool to offer different dynamic content, or curated content, as I'd say. It allows us to create experiences that are different to the open world experiences that we've already made. And it's not to say that we won't continue our open world development or only do instance content. It's going to be a mix. And like I said, this is one of the pillars that will move us towards 1.0. We will eventually work on dynamic content that will move us towards 1.0. And all three of those pillars will interweave to create the full Star Citizen experience.
So they have said that the Perseus is going to be released October, haven't they? I'm sure they said that, didn't they?
It's
Was it November?
likely to be
Talk
IA.
about instancing and how that's going to work within the universe.
Which is,
But
next
I want
month.
to ask you this one last big one. It's very easy to say Star Citizen is this kind of game and that kind of game. Those of us who
massively
spend our
changed
days
in a
making it
year,
know
though.
better. It's an everything.
Oh,
It's
it's been changed since we started playing it in, what, 3 years ago?
The core of this is still spaceships. That life is.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years ago it was
What more can you tell us about spaceships?
unrecognisable to what it is now.
What can you give us? What can you tee up for us to look forward to for those of us who are really into Star Citizen for the spaceships?
Our intentions going forward are to make sure that every ship or ship archetype that you acquire has a role and has content that you can go and enjoy in the universe. For example, right now I know that we're working on more robust mining missions, more robust salvage missions. We're going to be working on refueling missions. And we want to make sure that each and every one of the ship has a purpose and has a reason to exist in the game. That's from the smallest Argo MPUV, as well as ground vehicles.
You need to get rid of the Prowler then,
all the
mate.
way up to the large capital ships.
Because that's no
We want to
fucking
give
use.
them purpose. And I think something that we are absolutely aware of. We want to make sure that we're building that spectrum of content to allow players to go and engage in. And I think 2026 is going to be
a
very good year for Star Citizen.
It's going to be a monster year, I think.
Very interesting and something that a lot of people have been waiting for. But rather than me spoil it, I'll let Ian and the team go into the details on that.
Yeah, twinkle in his eye. Ian, take it away.
Space for spaceships.
So the persistent universe has existed for over 10 years now. During that time, we've created lots of gameplay systems, we've added hundreds of locations, we've added lots of mission activities for different purposes: combat, cargo, mining, salvaging. But for combat ships, the only thing you've been able to do is fight other combat ships. In 2026, this changes. We're going to be delivering a spaceship-focused activity space which incentivizes the use of different gameplay roles. These are going to be scenarios where you're going to have to plan and strategize and create operational tactics to overcome your objective. So what you're going to see is very early. It's early in the pipeline process, and it's going to come online about mid next year. But we're really excited about the content we're creating, so we want to share with you a super early look at what we're building in a space we're calling Tactical Strike Groups.
Okay.
This looks like almost like a
Alliance
single
are
player.
still trying to get to the bottom of what this new faction is really
Yeah.
doing in the Nyx system.
They've sent a capital ship to check out a station and run it into more than they can take care of themselves.
Yeah, it's like Squadron 42.
Came under attack, and members of
Squadron 43, maybe.
now they've
That's
reached
Squadron
out to
41.
Intersec, who've reached out to you.
Yeah.
Before Squadron 42.
Of course, it's unwise to do this alone, so you'll need to put a team together to attack the station.
When you arrive, you will have this big asteroid, kind of broken asteroid, and on this you will have this base where you will find three big arms. You will see in the middle, you will have this big energy core. Everything here has a purpose. It's not just for the show, just something nice to see.
You'll see a People's Alliance-owned Idris that's just on the outside, and it's going to be getting harassed by this unknown faction that you have met before.
They're not unknown then.
Looks a bit more like harassment.
To clear out the ships. There'll be waves of these ships. So
That's what they're doing, aren't they? Stop people complaining about griefing. They're bringing griefing in. Griefing missions.
Yeah. Grief. You too can be a griefer.
So while one part of your group is dealing with the fighters, now it's time to actually.
Yeah, I agree, Jack. All these one-off missions.
This station has been outfitted to resist all of the obvious way of attacks.
Somehow they've incorporated Vanduul capital ship killing turrets. These turrets ignore small fighters, and they have the firepower to destroy even the biggest capital ships.
Your Polaris and your Idris, if you get it close, it will get shredded. The idea of these is so we can sort of make it so we can mix up that ship combat, and not everyone can just bring the biggest ship.
Control.
Just because they have the biggest ship.
Yeah.
That's all about, isn't it?
You have to send out your best pilots to navigate the superstructure.
That'd be me and you, Minix.
We're fucked then.
Anything?
Look, those two idiots have actually crashed into each other. It'd be like watching McLaren, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Piastri and Norris.
This turret has shields that you've never seen before. It won't take any kind of damage. Your missiles won't do anything, your lasers won't do anything, your ballistics won't do anything to them. But like everything, they do have a weakness. You have to cut the power to their shields. To do that, that actually brings you to your first objective.
That's a familiar story, isn't it? I'm trying to think what that one is.
So the exterior has
Yeah, something about taking out the shields. I'm just trying to think of the storyline.
But it may not be as easy as it seems.
Here's our first wrinkle. The power relays have their own shields that are resistant to energy-based attacks.
We know how much you like using laser repeaters, but so do these guys.
Capital ship can't get close enough because of the turrets.
So ships with explosive or ballistic ordnance will be needed here. That's torpedo ships like your Retaliator or Gladiator.
It's a good idea
Or even another fighter with
in
ballistics
its
loadout.
theory, isn't
That's
it?
Yeah, but it's going to be limiting. It's going to be limiting though if you haven't got that capability.
Yeah.
If you haven't got missiles or bombs or whatever, then I think you're going to struggle.
It's just the way you're going to have to buy multiple ships.
Yeah. More money.
Yeah.
You're going to need to own a
From the impound. From the impound.
From the impound.
I feel like
Link in the description.
That moment.
Yeah. 3% off. Yeah. Trench run. Yeah.
So as you enter the structure, you'll see cooling units along the sides that you'll need to take out. There's 3 arms to the station that have these trenches. You'll fly into one, and then there'll be a core in the center, and then you'll move out another trench.
Yeah, I just can't think of what storyline I'm thinking of.
At this point, the core is still protected, so these are essentially strafing runs.
There are objects to avoid. You're going to have to be able to dodge. You're going to have to move quickly. You need an agile ship.
That ain't gonna be me then. Move quickly. Agile ship.
So once the cooling units are out, that exposes...
That's me. Suicide run.
From the inside and also from exhaust ports on the outside of the station. This core is armored and just takes a whole lot of damage. Once the power core goes down, the turrets come down, and then the capital ships can get closer. Why is that important? Because during all of this, you spend a lot of ammo and munitions and ballistics, and you're going to want to top up.
This is where we're going to get our new feature in. ship hangar refueling and rearming. You're going to be able to land in the hangar of select ships and be able to use the same interface as you are right now at stations to refuel and rearm.
It's specifically for ships like the Idris and the Polaris and other ships that are designed to have other ships land inside them.
Of course.
So they, I guess, have medibays and stuff. Mediships, maybe.
But this is a really important feature that we're really excited to get out.
Especially got to go and board it.
The People's Alliance has
The
that
station.
provide a safe port in a storm, allow you to set back up and head back out.
And it's a good thing that you've rearmed and refueled too, because now another group of ships is coming to attack the People's Alliance Idris. So while the fighters are protecting the Idris, what's happening at the station? Well, that's where the dropships come in.
Now you've got to take a fight.
Dropships.
You've got to land. You've got to fight through an
Oh,
onslaught
so the Prowler
of
now
FPS
has a
enemies
use.
that belong to this
Yeah.
faction, and you've got to open a hangar door which
They've
will
created
allow
this
you to
mission
release
just so the
captives
Prowler has a
from the
use.
station. After you've opened the doors and that person's taken
Was that a
off,
paladin
you've got to
then
make
coming
sure
in?
they get to safety.
Yeah.
So at this point, all of this sounds pretty simple, but there's an additional complication.
So up until this point, it's just been you versus the enemies in the station. But the enemies in the station have their own enemies.
The Vanduul neighbors who really don't like these guys for some reason and wreak havoc on everything.
And they're not going to discriminate between you and the station. They're out for blood. When you alert the Vanduul by destroying the power core that the station's now vulnerable, you're on a time limit. Vanduul are coming, they're going to come hard, they're going to keep coming, you're going to have one hell of a fight.
Vandals come out to play. You need to shave.
Vandal capitals?
Squadron 41.
Squadron 41. Look at that bad boy.
Squadron 4.1.
Maybe they're abandoning 42. That work.
Strike groups. I'm personally.
How excited would you have been if that was a merchantman coming out of the cloud there?
I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it.
Personally, driving a more vehicle-based experience is very important to me. This is a defining statement that I want to do in 2026.
I'm so glad we can use all our ground vehicles for this. I'm sure the tanks and all that, they'll be very useful for these.
Yeah. But you could probably just shove them out the back of your ship, couldn't they?
Create scenarios and roles for you to use those spaceships. We won't get to all roles initially, but we should see this as a landmark, a position where we can see a gameplay space which incentivizes.
This mission would be great in the Perseus.
Clear objectives.
Dark said,
Yeah.
I wouldn't make it to the point of landing into the ship because I'd have forgot my helmet by
in
then.
the future, we can do it. So I hope you're all just as excited as I am for tactical strike groups. They're gonna be fantastic.
Wow. It's almost like they're bringing in Squadron 42 into Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Okay.
Perseus, come on.
Why do you still have the puppet? John, come home. All right, so tactical strike groups. You know, it's been a long road for the last 10 years. The PU's been around. We've done lots to build stuff for mining ships and for salvage ships. And as Rich said, we're currently building out even more for those. And our first refueling missions coming online in 2026. But combat missions. Oh, hi, Aaron Roberts. but finally having enough of the foundation in place that we can begin to build real spaceship operations.
Sorry, I saw his running back.
You know, in any other MMO that called
Yeah.
Dungeons. It's really exciting for me, and that's why we're ending the show this year with that. So yeah, that's been CitizenCon Direct. Thank you for taking the time to...